My brother snooped on my laptop at family dinner and blurted, "Derek earns $340,000 a year and never helps the family." All eyes locked on me. Dad said, "You've been keeping money from us." I shut the laptop, smiled, and said, "You're right." The next morning, I canceled the auto payments on Mom's car lease, Dad's medical bills, and my sister's mortgage. By noon, can you imagine your own brother, at a family dinner, exposing your private finances to everyone, not to celebrate you, but to publicly shame you? Because that's exactly what happened to me. And the look on my family's faces, the betrayal in their eyes, it felt like I was the one who had robbed them. Story: I'm Derek. And I never thought I'd be the guy telling one of these stories. You know, the kind you read at 2 a.m., scrolling through Reddit, thinking, wow, some families are just wild. Well, apparently, mine decided to compete for first place. It all started that Sunday night. And honestly, for a guy whose life is usually pretty intense, that night felt like a bomb went off. See, I'm an FBI agent. And that means I'm always tired, always on. I'm the one who answers unknown numbers, misses birthdays because a case doesn't care what day it is. I'm the family's go-to guy when something breaks, someone panics, or a bill shows up they don't want to deal with. I drink black coffee like it's a personality trait, chew nicotine gum like it's my job. And yeah, I have this stupid superstition where I tap my badge case 3 times before I leave the house. Not for luck, just because my brain's convinced the universe will punish me if I don't. My daily routine? Monotonous. Shower, suit, gun belt, keys in the same bowl, phone charged, wallet, the same playlist on low. And yeah, I check the front door lock twice, then once more because the first 2 never feel right. I'm not proud of it, but that's me. I've been the responsible one for so long, I didn't even realize how deeply ingrained it was until that Sunday dinner. It was at my parents' place. You know, the kind of family dinner. Food's fine, vibes are not, and someone always says something to ruin the whole night. I'd come straight from the office, not being dramatic, just absolutely drained. My tie was still on, my holster digging into my side. I grabbed a store-bought pie, no time to pretend I'd baked anything. Mom saw me first. That fake bright voice, you know, the one she uses right before she asks for a favor. "Derek, finally. You look so thin. Are you even eating?" I just sighed. "I'm eating, Mom. Mostly gas station stuff." Dad was already at the table, watching the game on mute like it was a religious ceremony. He gave me his usual nod. That's his version of affection. My sister, Amber, was there too, glued to her phone, half listening. Her husband wasn't. That matters later. And then there was Tyler, my brother. Tyler thinks being loud makes him right. He's also the type who just grabs your stuff, then acts offended when you don't think it's cute. Dinner started normalish. Mom complained about her car, Amber about her mortgage, Dad about his insurance like it personally targeted him. And Tyler? He just waited for his moment. He leaned back like he was hosting his own podcast. "So, Derek, still too important to answer texts?" I stared at my plate. "I'm working, Tyler."
He smirked.
"You're always working. Or always saying you're working." Mom jumped in. "Now, Tyler, your brother has a very stressful job. Be nice." Dad just grunted, not looking up. "Work is work." Tyler tapped his fork against his glass, desperate for attention. Yeah, FBI hero stuff."
"Cool.
Must pay pretty good." My shoulders tightened. I knew, from harsh experience, that when Tyler talked about money, it was never a compliment. Mom said, "Tyler, don't start." He just grinned. "I'm not starting. I'm just curious." I took a slow, deep breath. "Can we not do this?" That should have been my cue to leave, to walk out. But I didn't. Because I'm trained. Trained to stay calm, to de-escalate, to sit in discomfort and keep my face neutral. And Tyler, that absolute genius, knew exactly how to use that against me. Mid-dinner, my phone buzzed, a work email. Time sensitive. I didn't want to deal with it, but I also didn't want to be up all night. So, like I always do, I pulled my laptop out, just enough to knock out a quick reply at the end of the table. Amber glanced over. "You brought your laptop to dinner?" I didn't even look up. It's 5 minutes. That's when Tyler's eyes lit up, like a kid spotting a cookie jar. Oh, we got secrets now, he said with that annoying sing-song voice. Tyler, I warned. But Tyler doesn't do warnings. Tyler does whatever he wants and calls it a joke. He stood up, walked behind me, and before I could even process it, he yanked the laptop. Dude, don't. I reached for it, but he just lifted it higher, laughing. Relax, I'm not hacking the FBI. Tyler, give it back. Mom did her weak, little half-laugh. Tyler, stop. You're acting like a child. He didn't stop. He just clicked around like he owned the thing. And then his face it changed. Not confused, not curious. Greedy. Pure, unadulterated greed. He turned the screen towards himself and started reading out loud. Holy, he said, then yelled. Everyone look at this. I stood up, so fast my chair scraped the floor. Tyler, stop. But he was already performing. He jabbed a finger at the screen like he'd just discovered a crime. Jake makes $340,000 a year and never helps the family. The table went dead silent. My stomach dropped in a slow, ugly way. Because I knew exactly what he was looking at. It wasn't my FBI salary. Not a pay stub. It was a private spreadsheet, a personal financial tracker I kept for myself, labeled under my middle name because, well, I'm paranoid and I don't like my full name on documents if I can help it. Tyler didn't know any of that. He just saw a big number. And he smelled blood. Amber's head snapped up. What? Mom blinked hard. Tyler, what are you talking about? He jabbed the screen again. It's right here. Jake, total, $340,000. He's been sitting on that while Mom's stressing about her car and Dad's bills and Amber's mortgage. And then Dad, finally looked up from the TV. He stared at me like I'd slapped him. You've been holding out on us. Not. Is that true? Not. What's going on? Just. You've been holding out. Everyone just stared. Like I was the villain in a movie who just got unmasked. I looked at Tyler's smug face. Mom's suddenly watery eyes. Dad's tight jaw. Amber's open mouth, like she'd been personally betrayed. And something in me just went very, very still. I stepped forward. Gently, calmly, I closed the laptop and took it from Tyler's hands. Like I was disarming a bomb. Then I smiled. Not a happy smile. Not a friendly smile. The kind of smile you give when you finally understand the game you're in. You're right, I said. Tyler's grin widened. Finally, I nodded once. And then, quiet enough that only they could hear, I added. You're all absolutely right. Here's the part that probably makes me sound stupid. I wasn't holding out. I was holding everything up. See, I grew up in a family where love came with invoices. Dad, Frank, is the kind of man who thinks feelings are a weakness. He didn't hug, didn't apologize. Never asked how you were doing. He asked if you were handling your responsibilities. Mom, Linda, she's softer, but also sharper. She cries when she loses control. Guilt trips like it's breathing. She doesn't ask for money directly. She just tells you a sad story until you offer. Amber, my older sister, isn't evil. She's just used to being rescued. She married a guy who made promises, bought a house they couldn't afford, and then he left her holding the bag. When she calls me crying, she sounds like a kid again, and I fall for it every time. Tyler is the youngest. Tyler is chaos. Tyler never learned no, because Mom always spun his failures into someone else's fault. Crashed his car? The mechanic scammed him. Lost his job? They were jealous of his potential. Missed rent? Landlords are unforgiving. And me? I learned early that nobody was coming to save me. I put myself through school, worked my way into federal law enforcement, moved out, kept my head down, and built a life that was structured because I needed structure. And at some point, without ever saying it out loud, I became the family's backup plan. It started small. My first year in, Mom called me, crying her car made a noise. I didn't have time to drive over. Take it to a shop, Mom. I'll cover it. $430. Then Dad had a health scare. Not life-threatening, but expensive enough to scare him. He called me late at night, voice lower than usual. I hate asking, he said. That was new. That got me. So I paid the first bill. Then another. And then it became normal. Amber's mortgage started slipping after her divorce. She didn't call me directly, of course. She called Mom, and Mom called me. Your sister is trying so hard, Derek. She's doing everything right, but the mortgage company just doesn't care. I remember staring at my apartment wall, jaw clenched. How much? I asked. Mom gave me the number immediately, like she'd been waiting. So I covered it for a month. Then the next. Then it became autopay. And here's the real problem. I didn't tell anyone. Not because I was hiding money. Because if you tell people you're helping, they stop saying thank you and start saying, so, you can do more. I also didn't tell Tyler anything, ever, because Tyler turns information into leverage. At first I was careful. A bill here, a repair there. But my job is relentless. I don't get the luxury of spending 3 hours on the phone with billing departments. So, I set things up the way I set everything else in my life. Efficient, controlled, quiet. Mom's car, lease payment on autopay. Dad's medical, monthly payment plan on autopay. Amber's mortgage, autopay. I didn't do it because I'm rich. I did it because I'm tired. And because every time I tried to pull back, the family pressure came down like a boot. Mom, I don't know what we're going to do. Dad, family helps family. Amber, I hate asking you, Derek, but I don't have anyone else. And Tyler? Tyler didn't ask. Tyler mocked. He'd show up to dinner with a new phone on a payment plan and laugh at me for driving an old car. He once said, right in front of my parents, must be nice being the FBI. You probably get free stuff. I said, we don't. He just laughed. Sure. And here's where the laptop thing really matters. That $340,000 number? It wasn't just my salary. My actual paycheck is normal government pay plus overtime, comfortable, not insane. But I also had investment income, a couple of smart moves I'd made years ago that paid off. Nothing illegal, nothing flashy, just boring, disciplined stuff. The reason the number was high was because I was doing what I always do, stacking stability. I didn't buy a fancy house, didn't buy a sports car. I was funding their lives while they acted like I was selfish for being busy. The entire time, the narrative in the family was that I didn't help because I didn't make a show of it. Because I didn't announce it. Because I didn't let Mom post about it on Facebook. So when Tyler opened my laptop and screamed that number, it wasn't just a gotcha. It was like he'd finally found a reason to call me the bad guy out loud. And my parents? They didn't defend me. They didn't ask what I'd already been paying. They didn't wonder why the bills somehow stayed handled. They saw a big number and immediately decided I owed them more. Dad's exact words, "You've been holding out on us," kept echoing in my head long after I left their house that night. I drove home in silence. No music, no podcast. Just me, gripping the steering wheel, jaw tight. Thinking, I've been paying their bills for years. And the moment they think I have more, they call it betrayal. That was when I realized the problem wasn't money. The problem was that in their minds, I wasn't a son or a brother. I was a resource. And resources don't get boundaries. I slept like garbage. Not because I felt guilty. Because I kept replaying that dinner scene in my head, frame by frame, like body cam footage. Tyler's voice. Jake makes $340K. Dad, you've been holding out. Mom's face, switching from nice hostess to victim who deserves compensation. Amber staring at me like I'd personally robbed her. And me, standing there, the professional calm guy, smiling like an idiot and saying, "You're right." At 5:12 a.m., I got up, made coffee, and opened my laptop again. I didn't do it dramatically. I didn't slam things around. I just sat there in my kitchen, barefoot, phone in one hand, my bank app open like a checklist. Out of habit, I tapped my badge case 3 times. Then I stopped. I looked at my reflection in the black screen of the microwave and thought, if I keep paying, this never ends. So I did the thing I'd been avoiding for years. I went to auto payments. Mom's lease? Off. Dad's medical plan? Off. Amber's mortgage transfer?
Off.
Each one asked, "Are you sure?" I didn't hesitate. I hit confirm. And I waited. Because I knew exactly what would happen next. By 7:03 a.m., my phone started buzzing. Mom first. Then Dad. Then Amber. Then Tyler, which honestly made me laugh out loud. I didn't answer. I was brushing my teeth, staring at myself in the mirror, trying to figure out what emotion I was supposed to feel. Anger?
Sure.
Relief? Definitely. But mostly I felt clean. Like I'd finally set down a bag I'd been carrying so long, I'd forgotten it was there. At 7:26, the family group chat lit up. Mom. Derek, call me now. Amber. What did you do? Dad. Answer your phone. Tyler. LOL, bro think he's slick. Mom. This isn't funny. My payment didn't go through. Amber. My mortgage is showing failed payment. Derek, please. Dad. Don't do this to your mother. I stared at the chat. I could have typed a paragraph. Explained every payment, every time I'd stepped in, every sacrifice. But I've learned something about people like my family. Explanations are just fuel. So, I typed one sentence. Me. We'll talk tonight. In person. All of you. Mom replied instantly. No. Fix it now. Dad. You embarrassed us yesterday, and now you're punishing us? Real mature. Tyler. Agent Jake out here running sting operations on his own mom. I ignored Tyler. Amber sent a separate message privately. Derek, please. If they report this late, I'm in trouble. I'm already behind. I can't lose the house. I stared at her message for a long time, because that one hit the soft spot. The part of me that still wanted to save her. Then I remembered her face at dinner. The way she stared at me like I was hoarding money away from her. And I typed back, I'm not your auto pay anymore. Bring your paperwork tonight. We're going to talk like adults. At 6 p.m., I showed up at my parents' house. Not in a suit, no badge on display. Just jeans, a plain jacket, and my laptop in my bag. Tyler opened the door like he'd been waiting for a camera crew. Oh, look, he said loudly. The family's safety net arrived. I walked past him without a word. Mom was already crying at the kitchen table. Not quiet crying. The dramatic kind, where she wipes invisible tears and watches to see if you react. Dad stood by the counter, arms crossed, face hard. Amber sat hunched over her phone, bouncing her knee. Tyler grabbed a soda and leaned on the doorway like he was there for entertainment. Mom sniffed. How could you do this to me? Dad said, after everything we've done for you. Tyler laughed. Yeah, Agent Jake, you make $340 and you can't help your own mom? Cold. I set my laptop on the table and opened it. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't swear. I just looked at them and said, You want to talk about help?
Great.
Let's talk about help. Dad scoffed. Don't get smart. I'm not getting smart, I said. I'm getting specific. I clicked a folder. Then another. A spreadsheet opened. Tyler leaned forward. Oh, here we go. I turned the screen so they could all see. This is every payment I've made for this family for the last 3 years, I said. I have more. I just picked 3 years because I didn't feel like ruining my whole night. Mom blinked. What is that? It's receipts, I said. Bank confirmations. Email confirmations. Account numbers, dates. Amber leaned in first. Her face changed as she read. Wait, that's my mortgage. Yes, I said. Every month. Dad's jaw tightened. That doesn't mean it does. I cut him off, still calm. Because last night you all sat there and acted like I never help. Mom's crying stalled for half a second. Tyler frowned. This is fake. I looked at him. It's directly from my bank, but sure. Tell yourself whatever. I clicked to the next tab. Mom's car lease. She stared like she was seeing it for the first time. That's been you? Yes. Her mouth opened, then closed. Dad leaned in, eyes narrowing. Then I clicked to Dad's medical payments. Dad went still. The room went quiet. That heavy, Uncomfortable quiet where everyone realizes they've been loud for no reason. Tyler tried to fill the silence. Well, okay. So you paid some stuff, he said, his voice thinner now. That doesn't mean you get to just. You mean paid some stuff, like your mom's car, your dad's medical bills, and your sister's mortgage? I said. Tyler shrugged, trying to recover. Family helps family. I nodded once. Exactly. Then I said the line that changed everything. I'm done being the family's autopay. Mom's eyes went wide again.
Derek.
No, I said. Listen to me. All of you. Dad started. You can't. I can, I said. And I did. Amber's voice cracked. So, what am I supposed to do? I looked at her and my chest tightened because I did love my sister. But I said it anyway. You're supposed to pay your own bills. Mom's breath hitched. But we're your family. I stared at her for a long second. Then I said, evenly, family doesn't call you a liar at dinner. Family doesn't accuse you of holding out while you're quietly keeping them afloat. Dad's voice got sharper. You're punishing your mother over one misunderstanding. I shook my head. This wasn't one misunderstanding. This was the truth coming out, and you showed me exactly how you see me. Tyler scoffed. Bro, don't act like a victim. I turned to him. Tyler, I said. You grabbed my laptop like a toddler and announced my finances like you were exposing a criminal. You wanted a mob. You got one. Now you're upset the mob doesn't get paid. He opened his mouth. I cut him off. Here's how it's going to work from now on. No more autopay. No more automatic rescue. If there's a true emergency, you can ask. Once. Respectfully. With details. Mom whispered. So, you're controlling us? I almost laughed. No, I said. I'm controlling me. And that's when Dad did the thing I expected. He went for the throat. You think you're so big because you're FBI, but you're nothing without this family. My hands went cold, but my voice stayed steady. I'm not nothing, I said. I'm just not your wallet anymore. The fallout was fast. Cartoon fast. By morning, Mom was calling from the dealership. They're saying my lease is delinquent, she cried. They're treating me like some irresponsible. I was in my car, already late for work. Mom, I said. The lease is in your name, right? She sucked in a breath. So you're really doing this? Yes, I said. I'm really doing this. Dad called next. The hospital billing office called, he said. The payment plan is broken. Then set up a new one, I said, changing lanes. With what money? He snapped. Here's the ugly part. They weren't broke. They were spend everything and assume Derek catches it broke. Dad still had retirement. Mom still shopped online. Tyler bounced between opportunities. Amber had a job and a mortgage based on her ex's income. They weren't helpless. They were just used to me as the safety net. By noon, Amber sent a screenshot of her mortgage portal with a big, red, past due banner. Amber. Please, I'm panicking. Amber. I can't lose the house. Amber. I'll pay you back, I swear. I didn't feel smug. I felt sad. I trained them to think my no was fake. I texted back. Me. I'm not paying it today. Me. Call your bank. Ask about a hardship plan. Me. Cut expenses. Get a roommate. That's what adults do. She replied, wow, so you don't care if I'm homeless. Me. I care, but caring isn't the same as funding your life forever. Then, the extended family jumped in. My aunt called, checked in, and opened with, your mother is so upset. You know she's sensitive. I knew. That's why she uses tears as currency. My cousin texted, heard you cut off your parents. That's cold. Tyler posted a vague Facebook status about people who forget where they came from. I ignored all of it. Then Tyler showed up at my building. Come down. Let's talk like men. No, I said. Scared, he pushed. I'm busy. You really think you can just walk away? Mom's crying. Dad's pissed. Amber's freaking out. You're going to be the bad guy forever. He wasn't wrong about that part. So I asked him, When was the last time you paid for anything for them? Silence. That's not my job, he snapped. Exactly, I said. And hung up. That week, Mom tried every angle. Anger, guilt, sweetness. On voicemail. Derek, we miss you. We don't want money. We just want our family back. If that were true, they'd have apologized for dinner. Asked what I'd been doing for them. Shown some shame. Instead, they acted like I had robbed them. A few days later, Dad called with a calmer tone. Okay, he said. What do you want? I respected that more than the crying. I want respect. And boundaries. Spell it out, he said. No more automatic payments, I told him. If you need help, it's case by case. Paid straight to the biller. Nobody touches my stuff again. Nobody talks about my money again. Ever. So, we have to beg, he said bitterly. You watched me get ambushed at dinner, I said. Consider this the consequence. Amber took the longest. 2 weeks later, she texted. Amber, I got a roommate. Amber, I hate it, but I did it. Amber, also, I'm sorry about dinner. I was shocked and I jumped on you. That wasn't fair. That was the first real apology from anyone. Me, thank you. Me, I'm proud of you. Tyler never apologized. He just got quieter. And the quieter he got, the louder my piece got. I started sleeping, eating real meals, running again. I stopped flinching at every buzz of my phone because it wasn't my family's emergency anymore. It was just my life. Conclusion: my story hits hard because Tyler didn't just invade my privacy. He used it against me, right there at dinner, like I'd done something wrong. All while I'd been quietly, literally, auto-paying their entire lives. What really happened that night? It wasn't accidental exposure. Tyler deliberately opened my closed laptop, searched through private files, and announced a big number like he'd discovered a secret. And when they saw that number, they didn't say, "Thank you for all you've done." They said, "Why weren't you doing more?" That's the trap. When you help silently, people often assume you're not helping at all. And when they discover you could help more, they reframe your generosity as withholding. Dad's line, "You've been holding out on us," perfectly captured everything wrong with that dynamic. I wasn't holding out. I was holding everything up. And the moment they thought I had more, they called it betrayal. Instead of asking what I'd already given. The real lesson? If you're the responsible one in a challenging family, they don't see your support as love. They see it as expected. And expectations? They just keep growing. My aunt actually said it best, years ago, though I never really understood it until that night. You were never their son, Derek. You were their backup plan. That's not family. That's being treated as a resource, with holiday dinners attached. The detail that still stings, that I had to process? I set everything to autopay, not because I was wealthy. I did it because I was tired. Tired of the pressure. Tired of the calls. Tired of being treated like I was the problem for being too busy while I was literally funding their stability. And they never even noticed until I stopped. Call to action. So, tell me, when someone goes through your private information to publicly call you out for not giving them more, while you've been quietly paying their bills for years, what's the right response? How many auto payments do you fund before helping family becomes enabling patterns that don't serve anyone? I really want to know what you think. Share your thoughts in the comments below, because family helps family should go both ways, right?